Hey there, Dear Tech fam, and welcome back to another episode of the Dear Tech Podcast. I got to sit down with Ivan Vislavskiy, the CEO of Comrade, a digital agency that he built from freelancing, and now it's up to 100 people across Chicago, Miami, LA, and Austin. He's a former developer, designer, PM, and now inside of his agency, he's built this R&D and Innovations group, which basically automates thousands of tasks across the agency. And he did this to be AI first and to make sure that they are utilizing AI the best of its own capability. Talking to Ivan, it really hit me, and I love the way that he frames AI. He doesn't talk about it like it's magic or that it's a threat. He just talks about it as something that it's a shift, right? That raises the bar. Because especially when you're in a digital agency where everyone can just create good enough work instantly, you know, the stuff that really stands out is the stuff that takes a little bit more judgment, a little bit more strategy, and a little bit more creativity. You know, utilizing AI, but also having that human touch is very important. In this episode, we got to talk about how he taught his team to how to use AI for strategy and not just for speed, right? We talk about how he still trusts human intuition over any model, right? Why Mad Men level creativity will never be replaced anytime soon, and what picking a niche really looks like when you're scaling an agency like this. We even got into parenting, critical thinking, how he uses AI to make custom coloring pages for his kids, which I thought was awesome. But we get into a lot of different things. It was a very fun episode to shoot. A lot of critical thinking, a lot of deep diving. But yeah, hope you guys enjoy. Let's jump into it. Ivan, welcome to the show.
Hey, Shiva, really glad to be here.
Awesome. All right. So let's just jump right into it. So you mentioned you wanted to discuss AI influences and strategy, not just execution. So break that down for a little bit. What does that look like in practice?
Are we talking about AI for efficiency and productivity, or are we talking about how AI changes the user behavior?
Well, I think so. In general, so far, AI is very much a tactical tool, right?
Correct.
Like most people want to go into it like, all right, you know, how do I write this presentation or how do I make this campaign,
Yep.
whatever that is, right?
Yep.
But you've talked about it in terms of strategy. So maybe even before most people want to use AI can be leveraged very well, right? So in terms of that, and maybe directly in terms of Comrade, but like how do you use it in strategy as opposed to just for execution, which is what most people are doing right now?
Well, AI is an assistant, right? Like that's how we need to look at AI, and people are usually confused. What are the limitations of AI? How much can I trust AI? Can I actually have AI produce, my wedding speech or my birthday speech or whatever? Can I trust AI to give me a full presentation that I'm going to share with my C-suite level? And the answer to it is it really depends, right? Like, are we there with AI? No one knows. In some situations, AI is going to do a phenomenal job and give you like great answers. In some other situations, you're going to get a very generic stuff, and they'll be like, "What is this? What are you going to come up with?" I mean, this is very generic. I'm not going to be able to use it, right? We first we have to understand how do we utilize AI so that we become more efficient, and so that AI empowers us as humanity, as people, as individuals, as professionals, to do more, to do better, to scale up faster, right? The same applies to strategy. Before entire strategy discussion, right? Like the strategy consists of what? A research, an understanding of what you're trying to achieve, understanding of that goal, understanding of what environment we'll live in and we work in. So all you have to break it down into a smaller pieces, and then you can apply AI towards each individual piece. Like, for instance, research. If you want to do that specific part of a strategy, then you have to define what does a research need to look like. You have to define it. If you already have a template, that's great. That's a perfect place to start with. If you don't, then you can use AI to sort of outline, give me a best template for a research. Like what should I have in that document, and then that's the good starting point there.
Yeah, I think also like it comes down to sometimes the issue is that a lot of people use AI or go into using AI kind of like the way you used to use Google, right? You just kind of just ask it a question or just give it a task and not give a lot of context. And I think, now we're at a point where people understand how important prompt building is, right? Like having a good prompt can give you so much, right? And I think what ends up happening is, in terms of what you're talking about, right? In terms of strategy, in terms of research and all those different things, sometimes people just don't know what they don't know. And that's where the stagnation comes in. So if you were training, or maybe you can talk about when you started training your team in terms of using AI for research as opposed to just making a tool that gets things done faster. Because that's I'd say today, for people that aren't already in it, that's the disconnect. People are still using it as just a speed tool as opposed to, so how did you go about training your team to think of it strategically as opposed to just speed? And or if you were going to train a new team, how would you go about doing that?
Yeah. So first, we actually started strategically when we figured out that AI is going to stick around and it's going to really interrupt our space and all other spaces and going to be that revolutionary tool. What we've done is we've created a separate department that's called Research and Development and Innovation. And all they do is they're responsible to automate everything we do, use AI technology, use automation, whatever, technologies out there, whatever tools they can utilize to make sure we can do our process much faster, much more efficiently, and so on. And from there, we started educating our team members. And the first session, and I have a thing called management course, where every 2 weeks I meet with my team of leaders, and we're getting close to 100 people in our company, just to give you a context, right? So they're about like 15, 16 leaders that I speak with every 2 weeks. And every session that I talk to them, I start with like the main concept, and a fair amount of those sessions were about AI. So I started with very basics, like why do we need to use AI? Well, first and foremost, if we're not going to use AI today, we will become obsolete, and then eventually we can go out of business. Other companies will very quickly catch up, start using AI, and that would be their main point of differentiation. And that's how would they going to go to the market and say, look, we do this, others don't. That's number one. Number two, we may even lose our jobs. Like even me, I'm a CEO of a company. I'm one of the founders. If I don't embrace AI today, I'm going to be behind. I'm going to drag my team behind. And the same applies to every single member within my team. If you're not embracing AI, guess what? You're going to become obsolete. You're going to drag your team, and you're not going to be fast enough. And the environment will tell. Like, why is this that all of our departments are speeding up? We don't need to hire additional people. We can become a lot more efficient. But this one department is slowing us down. What's wrong with that? And very quickly, it will come to you, individual, right? Like you, leader, because you are not fast enough. So it was my way to tell them that, look, if you're not going to embrace it, there's a good probability that you will be out of this company and out of the job. You're not going to be employable, basically, right?
Yeah. It's kind of like with the athletes and like gear, different kinds of gear, right? So, you can't run track barefoot. You have to get the right sneaker. Tennis, they used to use wooden tennis rackets. Now they use metal. That's the exact difference in terms of tools, because it's someone who can do one task at a time versus 7 tasks at a time. And that ends up being the difference. So that absolutely makes sense.
I love your analogy. And so to add to that, what else, an additional factor helps us to look into AI holistically. We also thought about KPIs. You can't just tell your team, hey, let's embrace AI, let's start implementing it without measuring the impact of it, right?
Sure.
So we started measuring impact. And for every department, we have a specific KPIs. For R&D Innovation department, the major KPI is how many hours do we save monthly? And we usually have a goal, and we see that there was a specific task, there was specific implementation within the process, and let's say it now helps us to save 500 hours across the entire team. Oh, great! And usually our goal is 500 to 1,000 hours monthly for this department.
Wow.
Uh,
Wait, can you tell me if you know off the top of your head? Because I know as soon as AI comes in, kind of the existing KPIs have to be adjusted, like you just said, right? Like because you're going to be able to do better. It's going to be
mhm.
numbers go. So how did that do you off the top of your head? Do you know how that affected your existing KPIs? Like how much of a jump that you saw or?
It varies. Yeah, it varies by department. For
Sure.
instance, our development department, we're already at like 40 to 50% increase in efficiency, meaning that the amount of code we're able to build, the amount of websites we're able to produce, the amount of applications and so on we're able to produce is 40 to 50% more with the same team.
Wow.
Some other teams, it really depends. We
Sure.
always start with the baseline. Like, here's what we're able to produce without AI, right?
Yeah.
And let's say it's, we can measure it in outputs or deliverables. Let's say
Sure.
it's this many. I don't know. Let's use a blog post for simplicity. Let's say our content department is able to write 100 blog posts a month. That's our baseline. All right, now we're going to start. Now we're going to implement AI. Now we're going to have this various theories and ideas. Well, first of all, let's start implementing. Let's start building theories, and let's see, can we actually sustain the same quality? Because yes, you can achieve much better efficiency,
Hmm.
but what if your quality goes down
Yeah.
significantly? Now, is this a success? No, I don't think so. So we always measure quality as well, and we're trying to strike at least 80% of the same quality
Yeah.
produced by humans. Now, if we achieve that, then we're onto something. If we don't, then we may need to change the tool. We may need to, come up with the new hypotheses, and so on and so on. And then from there, we asked our team, like, what do you think would be an exciting goal with this? Like, now you see the capabilities of this tool. What do you think we're able to achieve with this? And they'll say 30% increase. Like, that would be great. Okay, let's use that as our goal for the next quarter or maybe two, depending, and let's measure against that goal.
How much pushback did you get initially?
Not a lot, actually. I think I'm this individual that's able to sell. I'm not leader that brings excitement with all new innovations that I usually generate. And
Hmm.
I drive ton of innovations. Like, I
Hmm.
usually go to conferences, I listen to a lot of podcasts, I participate in different podcasts. So there are always ideas, and I
Hmm.
usually sell them with the smile and excitement on my face. Like, guys, this is gonna be great. Think about it. Now you can have a lot more coffee. You can go to a lot more breaks. You can even finish your day sooner because of help of AI. Now you have your own secretary or AI assistant sitting next to you. You can control it. You can abuse it. Do whatever the heck you want with it. But if you finish your job, finish at 3. Just go home. Spend the rest of your time with your family.
Wow! After this episode, you're gonna get so many more applications to work at your company. Because the thing is, it's that I think that's the healthy approach. But some people are like, okay, now you can work till 5 and do twice as much of the work, which eventually, I mean, maybe some companies will end up there. But I think your thought process is healthier, just because, because one of the fears that can come out of this is this can actually hasten burnout if you overdo it. Because it's very easy to be like, oh, you're just, if like someone doesn't know what they're doing, oh, you're just writing prompts all day. What do you care? Just keep working and keep going. But in reality, it's like you said, right? Because I think efficiency isn't the problem. It's the creative factor of how good the post is, and that takes more than just writing prompt. That takes a lot of human effort, and that gets missed sometimes in between.
I agree with you, and there's got to be a healthy balance. If you drive your people to the ground, they'll just do this busy work without
Yeah.
innovation. But if you spend a little bit of time into innovating the processes and how you perform certain actions, then there's a possibility that they'll come up with even better process and more ideas, more innovation, innovative ideas, and so on, which will again greater speed up your process. So it's always our goal to have our leaders and our specialists to have that little bit of flexibility and freedom, so that they can learn, so that they can be curious, so that they can explore on their own, and figure out what else can we do to speed up and to become more efficient.
In your processes, do you have a way to ensure that that human connection isn't missed? Is there something in there to make sure that you keep that balance of human intuition via versus like the AI recommendation? Like, what is that in your process?
We prefer human intuition and human gut feeling. I don't think AI is there. You can train LLM models. You can dump a lot of data on it. Absolutely, and it can give you the best guess per se, right? But still, I believe in human intuition first and foremost. So I would always prioritize that over a machine thinking, because sometimes it could be counterintuitive, but it's something like it's that gut feeling that tells you you shouldn't do that, or like maybe you should look at a different solution and so on. But the machine would be like, yeah, my job is to satisfy your needs. Ivan, here it is. I got it. Please use it. Here's the best approach and so on. You read it and like, nah, something is not right.
Mm-hmm.
But AI would be always so positive about it. Like,
Yeah.
oh, this is it. Because AI's job is to deliver.
Yeah. And sometimes I'll even respond and be like, "Do you think that I don't know if this is right?" And she's like, "You're right. This is wrong, actually." And I'm
Yeah.
just like, "Well, how are you confident both times? Like, you can't be
Yeah.
this confident both times." But I also think that, like, at least for me, if I'm using AI to do anything, either I think one of the best things that happened to me was one of the first times, maybe within the first dozen times I was using AI to actually write something that I wanted to post, and for help, it hallucinated. Like, it was such a hallucination, right? Thank God that happened to me early, because now I'm hyper vigilant, because it was
Yep.
so, and I literally messaged and I was like, I think you just hallucinated, just because I was so annoyed. Like, I wanted to tell it, and it didn't respond to me for like a solid 2, 3, 4 minutes, and it was just loading because I guess I broke it. I don't know. But I feel like everyone needs like that early days so that you're aware of those limitations. But also, now it's a little bit different or better, because now most of our tools have internet access, and they can browse, and they can cross check for the most part. Like, even though I go through everything, like I'll use Perplexity mostly for research, and then I'll use ChatGPT for planning, and then Claude for writing. Like, go that way. But before, it would make up so much more than it does today. And I think we heard about all the horror stories, right? People posting things with fake data, people sending in legal briefs with fake data.
Mm-hmm.
There's less of that, but again, it's good things that happened early. But let's back up. Let's talk about you. All right, let's just talk about you for real. Tell me about what sparked your journey into digital marketing, and because I looked at your LinkedIn, and you've been an entrepreneur, you've been a CEO for a very long time. What made you not want to work for someone else on someone else's vision and build something yourself?
So I have worked at other agencies, and this was the beginning of my career. But since early days, I guess I had this entrepreneurial spirit. I always wanted to have my own business. I always, I don't know, I always wanted to be surrounded by like-minded people. And I always wanted to have that culture that would excite me coming to the office, starting the day and knowing that this is a really cool place to be in, and a great vision to continuously build. But in my early days, when I was 19, I started working for a digital marketing agency, and actually, I was first a website developer. I coded front and back. I was also a website designer. I designed websites. I was eventually promoted to be a project manager, and at that time, the business started as a hobby. It was more of an accident when somebody I knew asked me, "Hey, could you do those projects? And I currently need a website. Like, I heard that's a very popular thing nowadays. Could you build me one?" I'm like, "Sure, yeah." So I jumped on this opportunity right away. So I did a phenomenal job. They liked it, introduced me to someone else, and that's how it grew into a business, right? Like, even when I had my first 3 full-time employees, I was still employed at another agency. Reason being, I was going for as much knowledge as possible.
Mm-hmm.
I was at a fairly large agency, and I was always soaking up that knowledge. I would always go to executives. I would be, papering them with various questions like, why are we taking on this project? Like, what's in it? Or, what about our hiring strategy? Like, who are you thinking to hire? I was always reviewing all the various financial reports, and we were very transparent about it to understand how do you grow past, let's say, 3, 5, 10 employees. I never had that uh, knowledge or experience in school. So it was very helpful. Only when I think we had like 3 full-time employees, I finally decided that it was big enough for me to quit my job at the agency and focus on my entrepreneurial journey.
So what was it? Just like, was it like you hired three and then you got like a big contract, or like was it just a random day? You're like, you know what, this is it. Like, this is my last day, or like how was because that day of deciding to like full time in your own business, it's a special day, right?
Yeah,
It's a special day because you're either there's three ways that I see. Either you get really mad at your boss or something, and you're like, I don't need this anymore, or some people it's really just another day. You're like, you know what, today's the day, or something really big happens. You're like, I need to focus more this way. Which one was
yeah.
it for you?
It was a combination of factors. First of all, I was thinking about that for quite some time
Mhm.
because I was sort of busy, like really busy. I was working 12 hours a day, doing my full-time job and plus managing my agency. And I had a really great boss that knew that I had a company and knew that I had other projects on the side. Like, I was very transparent about it. I was already working at that point 3 days a week. So he was expecting that, and I had transparent conversations that at one point I might jump off their board because I need to focus on this full time. And I don't exactly remember the point. Like, it was such a long time ago, but it was something that drove me to this conversation with my boss to say, look, I think this is it. I think this is the end of the journey. Anything you need, I can finish, no problem. You can even, we can even support you. Now I have 3 full-time employees, and we have supported this agency for another 6 months, worked on various aspects and so on, while they were looking for a full-time replacement for me. So it worked out really well. But I was in my mid 20s. I was, there was nothing for me to lose. Even
Yeah.
even if my own business would not work out, I could always go find another job. Like,
Yeah,
it
yeah,
was
yeah.
not a problem.
For sure. And then tell me a little bit about early days at Comrade after that. Like, what was the next, couple years like? Was it just going from project to project, and then were you growing more employees? Like, what was that the early days?
Oh yeah, it was very chaotic. It was one day we were growing, and then I was fully expecting that we're gonna be like one of those Inc. 500 companies, crushing it every single month, every single year. It would be like 300% growth. Yeah, let's go. But the challenge was I was not mature enough as an entrepreneur, and luckily I had those early mistakes, early problems that course corrected how we go about growing this agency. So there was a specific moment in time that I remember really well. I had a couple more projects, and I was like, oh, cool, we need a couple more employees. Hired them right away. I brought some friends of I don't remember, a few friends of someone who already worked at our agency. Like, cool, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. We have a great agency. But I didn't really look at my bottom line, like
Mm.
on the financials. And sure enough, I was hunting for more projects to pay salaries of these new individuals. And this was a vicious cycle that was going on for like the next 6 months, where I was so stressed out
Yeah.
that I made a decision. Okay, this is gonna stop. Let me go back a step. Let
Yeah.
me get rid of a few team members. Yes, it's gonna be bad on our morale. It's gonna probably not gonna look good on who I am as an entrepreneur. But I did make a mistake, and I need to start over. I need to start planning it better. Um, so it was that element, and other elements. Luckily, about 8 years ago, we made a decision to invite. Basically, the business was started by 2 partners, myself and another partner who is currently a kind of like a silent minority partner in the business. He decided to quit the agency. He was going to take a big sabbatical for like a year or two, and we started looking for other individuals who would replace him as my business partner. And I stumbled upon my current business partner, who is extremely knowledgeable. His name is Sasha, extremely savvy when it comes to finances, sales, like that front side of the business, logistics, and so on. And luckily, we brought him about 8 years ago, and ever since, the business really took off like crazy.
Yeah, it's always about finding people that kind of cover your gaps, right? It's like, and though many kinds of business up there, people that do it by themselves, people that do it with the team, co-founders, and all that good stuff. But at the end of the day, whether it's a partner or people in your team, you have to be aware of the fact that as an entrepreneur, you can't do everything, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it's either finding a partner or delegating, or one or the other. And so, am I right to believe that you've expanded into 3 cities? Is that
Correct.
three
Yeah.
major cities?
So yeah. So Chicago is our headquarters. Miami, where I currently live, and my business partner also moved to Florida. We're spending pretty heavily in that area. LA, and we also have like a small two-people office in Austin, Texas, that we call an office, but in reality, it's just an address.
Yeah. And so how do you like, was that, so how do you, now that you expanded, or when you first started expanding into different cities, how did that go? How is that different? And then are you, is all those places, are they in office every day, or how do you manage 3 locations, or three and a half
Yeah, so
locations?
expansion happened really organically. It wasn't by design. For instance, our Florida office, it was just my desire to move from Chicago. I have 2 kids. I wanted to, every winter, we would go to Costa Rica and Mexico and have like a prolonged vacation.
Yeah.
So we decided to make a big change and go for a much warmer climate. So we moved along with one other employee, and we started hiring here. And then my business partner also made the decision to move. So this happened organically. LA was sort of the same thing. We just had a few during COVID. We had few team members move to California because they were just did not want to spend time in Illinois as,
Yeah.
because of different reasons, and that also happened. So we organized like a little office there. So all happened organically. Um, and as for a culture, we're my business partner Sasha. He describes it as a kumbaya state of things. My more official, I guess, name of this culture is we're very balanced in our culture. What we request from our team is 2 days in the office, and then everything else is flexible. If you want to work from home, screw it, work from home. If you want to come to the office because you hate that your kid screams in your house, or it gets really you know loud in your house, you have an office. Come here. So it also applies to me and my business partner. Like I spend 2 to 3 days in the office. The rest I work from home when I have time. I think when you don't give your team members boundaries, don't tell them specifically like you have to be in the office 5 days a week. It helps with your employee retention, and as a result, our employee retention was astronomically high. Like it's really rare for us to lose an employee or a team member. We don't call them employees, by the way. We call them team members for the reason that we just built this amazing culture. And but at the same token, everyone is respected to be owners of their own processes or their own team or whatever they're working on. So it's not like we're giving you all this freedom, but we're not asking anything in return. No, we're actually very much treating you as an adult. And we're hoping that you're going to achieve the KPIs and the goals that are set forth for you. And if that's not happening, that look, maybe uh, you're not a good fit for us.
I think most high intensity, high performing teams, ownership is the determining factor. And the only way you can give ownership is by giving agency or giving them freedom, right? Because at the end of the day, if you're like, oh, you own all of this, but I'll tell you when to eat lunch, I'll tell you when to come in, I'll tell you all this stuff, that's not really ownership, right? You're just giving tasks. But if you give true ownership, 9 times out of 10, as long as you've picked the right kinds of people to be on your team, it'll be great. And that's why like agile frameworks work, is because everyone has ownership. This is our project, we all own it. It's not just one person, one manager, whatnot. So that's great.
Yeah.
And so we talked about the longevity of your business now. So let's go into the first time that AI appeared on your radar, right? Let's go back to when, because the thing is, honest to goodness, marketing has been around forever, right? Marketing has been around forever. We see, all the different kinds over the years. AI is fairly new. So you had a great template of doing things up until that point. So let's go into that first initial experience with AI, and then to your up until your sales pitch to your team that you spoke about, where you got them really excited about it. But first initial exposure, how did that go for you?
Oh, gee, yeah. I think it must have been like 2.5 years ago, maybe close to 3 years. I like when ChatGPT came out with one of the first models. We already started experimenting with the content, not specifically writing content, but content repurposing. Like we saw an opportunity to use AI to repurpose the content, because think of this process. Let's say we work with the client, we have to develop one piece of content, we have to redistribute it to post it on socials, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and so on. Like a writer has to spend a chunk of time rewriting one piece of content multiple times, right?
Yeah.
Whereas the content, stays at the core the same, it's just a different time, format, different length, and so on. So we had a fair success using the early ChatGPT models with that. But we also early on realized that there are a lot of limitations with AI. Like we succeeded with one thing, we immediately went into trying other things, and it was like 50-50. 50% it would succeed, 50% it would fail miserably. So our perception of what AI could do kind of changed, well, not to say daily, but probably weekly. It's like, oh, there's this new thing, this new feature, or now you can do this, or now it allows you to do that. So we have to retest our theories time after time after time. But when we really realized that it's got power, early on, I had this concept of turning our service business into a technology business. And we service something like 150 clients in different spaces right now. And for every single client, we produce a report. And it's the same report framework-wise, right? Similar KPIs, similar data points. But when you have to collect the information and stats manually, when you have to analyze it manually, it takes you a lot of time, right? Like you spend significant time of your best team members to just do that. So the early on process or vision was, what if we could have a client portal where everything is created and compiled automatically, analyzed automatically, and then produced to different sets of eyes. First, for client, which are a lot less tech savvy in the very simple terms. Second, for our internal team members, like what does our trend look like for each client? Is it going up? Is it going down? What are the warning signs? What are red flags, and so on? And then there's so much you can do with this data, what you can do with these reports. So we started building, or our first hypothesis was, we had a process where for every client, we would deploy marketing campaigns. And those marketing campaigns would produce conversions or leads, right? Every single lead had to be qualified. So we had a team of 4 individuals. All of their job was to just sit there and qualify every single lead and provide a tally. For client A, out of 100 conversions, let's say 25 were qualified leads, this many not qualified leads and so on. So because of AI, we thought about, well, there's got to be a better way. What if we use AI to qualify leads for us? And so we started building LLM system. We trained it. We gave a ton of data, ton of context, why this lead is qualified versus that lead, what kind of questions to ask, edge cases, and so on. And we've been working on a system for maybe 8-10 months and until it was finally ready. And that 80% rule applied to this tool as well. We finally got it to the point where it was like 80% correct, and it was the point where we deployed it for all of our clients. So that's the moment when we switched from just AI users to builders of technology around AI capabilities.
That's real innovation. I mean, the thought process of, like you saying, like coming up with the decision of this is what we're going to do and making that change. I mean, that's the definition. That's huge. So you said, I think what, like 2.5 years ago is when you guys got your first bite into AI. It's, 2.5 years later, 2025, and there's still companies that are at the first stage that are getting started with AI. Are there any mistakes you're seeing or any pitfalls from agencies that are starting to implement these tools? Is there anything in the market that you're seeing, like, this is happening quite a bit, or anything you'd be like, watch out for this when you're implementing something new?
Sure. There's just a syndrome of shiny things that I think a lot of agencies see, like, oh, let me try AI on everything, this, and then they fail in many things, and they just decide that, oh, maybe AI is just not powerful. Or I've seen agencies trying to completely outsource all of their production to AI whatsoever, and that failed miserably as well. Let's say, oh, let ChatGPT write all of our blog posts. Fine, sure. Then you see a lot of generic shit that's not ranking on Google, that's not giving you that AI visibility, and your customers living. So on. So there are different problems that I sort of see, and I'm involved in like roundtable discussions with other agency owners. I think 30% of agencies are actively utilizing AI properly. Mm-hmm. Another 30% is trying to figure out how to use AI, and the remaining third is just haven't even started using AI. Like that's my subjective opinion, like based on my like subjective understanding of where it's going. But my recommendation is, number one, don't treat AI as your complete outsourced tool. Treat it as an assistant. Where it's really powerful is where you work human plus AI. Like that's the combination. Second of all, only deploy it in the activities or the processes that are like true repeat. Don't do it for like one time project, because there's so much more opportunity, to automate or templatize something that you do every single day, maybe 5 times a day. And then third of all, don't confuse AI with automation. Just because AI has been like a hot topic, and everyone has been talking about AI, it doesn't mean that you have to use ChatGPT. Automation is a lot more powerful than AI. Start there. Yeah. There are a lot of cool tools that allow you to automate a lot of what you do. AI agents are amazing, but there's very little AI concept. Let's say if you build AI agent, and we built a lot of them for our production team, there will be, let's say, 10-step process. Only one of those processes will be handled by AI. The rest is just a simple automation, like gather information from here, paste it to this tool, output it in this format, give it to me, and so on and so on.
No, most people don't understand automation, because you'll hear people talk about AI and they're like, oh, one day you'll be able to say this and it'll do X, Y, Z. I'm like, you can still do X, Y, and Z. You're just not doing it with AI. You can still do it with Zapier, N8N, or even honestly on our iPhones, you can do shortcuts, and it's actually kind of crazy how good shortcuts can be for on the iPhone. Or you can use like NFC tags and have a whole system. Anyway, that's a whole other thing. But I will say that most people that don't know, right? Most people aren't super technical or they aren't thinking about it. Automation, a lot of the stuff that people think it's AI is actually automation plus, an agent that you can talk to do those automations, but you can do them anyway. That's for sure. So jumping a little bit back into the creative thought processes, the general fear is that AI is going to kill creativity. Like, oh my gosh, like what is art anymore if AI can create art for you? And I think people forget that AI can't make decisions, right? It can spit things out. It can do a random choice. It can't make a decision, which is where creativity lives, in my opinion, right? And I think you've said that you believe that that's the opposite. AI doesn't kill creativity. So can you explain to the skeptics out there why AI doesn't kill creativity?
At least up until now, AI is not capable to produce amazing art. It can copy, it can duplicate, it can maybe create a nice synergy of different elements, art elements, different concepts, and so on. It can give you various variations. AI is great at that. But creating a completely new concept, a completely new idea, AI is just not there. I don't know if AI is going to be able to compete with humanity on that level. All the, I guess, famous ads that we've seen, if you even think about like Apple commercial and so on, I don't think AI would be able to come up with that. It's the genius of, somebody, a creative director that was, that had an amazing experience, very specific experience that led him to this point where he designed and developed this commercial. I don't know if you watched Mad Men, or one of my favorite shows, but
Amazing.
You remember Don, right? Like the reason why he designed that Coca-Cola commercial at the end of the series, at the end of the show, was all the experiences he went through. AI is not going to go through all those experiences. AI is not going to have that gut feeling developed over centuries, developed over a bunch of whiskey drinks, friendships, failed, and different client experiences and so on. I don't think AI is capable to do that.
One of my favorite commercials was he in Mad Men was a ketchup commercial where all the pictures don't have ketchup in it and it's just a burger, and it's like would have been great with ketchup. And in my mind, I'm like, there's no world where AI will have the nuance. So that's what it's missing, right? The nuance of if you don't put it in the commercial, it makes it great. AI is never going to get that. AI is going to be like, you put it next to a burger, you put it everything. So AI is missing that. And again, I don't see, unless there's a very deliberate addition to AI that it'll be case by case where this idea is added in. AI won't be able to have that nuance. But yeah, Mad Men, great show. If you haven't seen it, if you're listening, watch it. It's timeless because it's in the past. I love shows like that, and I think it's great.
Especially if you're in creative space or agency space.
Yeah, it makes you want to get in. It makes you want to get in there. It makes you want. It's like I could do that.
It makes it feel so sexy.
Yeah, it really does.
I always picture myself like sitting with the glass of whiskey and big cigar and cigarette and just brainstorming about creatives.
I don't know if I could be as functional as he is because he drinks so much and he's still able to just do things. And I'm like, I would be on the floor. Like
that's a specialty. That's a specialty, right? And
that's his skill.
No AI would be able to have whiskey and come up with ideas influenced by alcohol.
Oh my gosh. No, and no, I absolutely. But I will say, going back a little bit before where you're saying, you see that 50% going through the early days of using AI and 50% are good and 50% are bad. The other thing is, back in those days, it still happens now though. You say you ask for like 10 different blog posts. You're going to get the same blog post essentially with a little bit of change here and there, right? Back in the day, there was if you asked for 10 topics, they would be generally the same topics unless you wrote more than you needed to, right? You'd have to write 10 different prompts to get 10 different topics. It's different now, but that's, again, there's no nuance, there's no decisions, there's no thoughts. And then, when it comes to presenting your clients with these different AI approaches, like the qualified lease, when you bring it to them, what's the response on their end in terms of, this is what we're doing, or this is a new thing we're offering, it's AI. What's your, again, you can sell. I can see the energy from you. You're good at that. What is that conversation, or what was that conversation like when you initially started with these AI products and AI tools?
Yeah, there I guess two types of clients that I've seen personally. The first type, and I think it's overwhelming majority of our clients, they were extremely happy and excited about the innovation, the fact that we're getting into AI world so quickly. Obviously, they're not isolated. They hear about AI every single day, and they're probably thinking, will it change my business? Will it, like, do I need to do anything different? And it's great to know that the agency you work with is already on top of it. It is educating you. Like, we've built education sessions for our clients. We explain what AI is, and how it could potentially change their business, and what they should be doing to improve efficiency of their businesses, and so on. And there's second type of clients, and I can't say there were too many of them, but I was surprised to hear, like, oh, okay, you guys use AI. Well, where's my discount? Excuse me? Well, you use AI, right? Like, you spend a lot less time. You spending less time to write blog posts because AI ChatGPT does it for you. So where's my discount? And they're not thinking, or they're forgetting that it's not as simple as just, hey, ChatGPT, give me all this content for 10 blog posts, and also ideally post it for me, and also just let my client know that you did it. It's a lot more complicated than that.
Mm-hmm.
And they're still humans, and there's processes and different workflows that are developed to ensure that the content that's produced, and sure, AI is involved in some parts of that, but to ensure that this content will rank, this content will work, that you're not just wasting money.
I think because one thing we hear about AI, and we've heard from the beginning, oh, it's going to save money one way or another. It's going to save money, but I think people forget that there's context in that, because it depends on what when you're in such a creative space. And I think everybody at this point understands that AI doesn't supplement all of creativity, but it's not that it does all this stuff for you. There's many other things that go around, but some people hear AI and they ask that exact question: where's the discount? But I think, again, more people are getting educated, more people are getting better at understanding, and hopefully that's not something that comes up for you that much. But
sure, I just wanted to add something to it, which is, the more we use AI, the more we jump on it, the more we think that it's going to make our lives easier and going to save us money, the more competitive this world becomes. Because think about it, we all start using these tools, we all have that same capability to produce more content. What's going to happen?
Yeah.
The previous content that we were able to produce is going to stop working because it's all very much the same. So you have to have new nuances. You have to have innovation. You have to figure out how to be even better.
Yeah.
Invest even more to compete in this world. So my prediction is, and I know some business owners, some agency owners predict that the marketing will become less expensive. I actually think it's going to become more expensive to compete and to provide results for clients. I think it'll be a lot harder to do, and therefore it will require more, not necessarily human hours, but just hours to figure this out.
I agree.
That's my take on it.
I 100% agree. I think either you're going to have to, either you are going to get high quality stuff, which is going to involve more humans, which will be more expensive, or you're going to have to double up your shitty, not human creations, and you just have to double the production, and that's going to cost you more money. Either way, you're going to have to, that I 100% agree with you. And but that's kind of the beauty of free enterprise. It balances itself out in that sense, where one way or another, if you want to actually succeed and have a long-term business, you're going to do one or the other. You're either going to get very high quality, and if you can't do that, then you double up on not great quality. But either way, it's more. But yeah, that Absolutely makes sense. If you could tell me like a live example of a real campaign where like AI might gave you some sort of a solution that you might not have otherwise found, or just like that impact, where it was, hey, without AI, this would have been different, or this might not have happened the same way. Is there anything like that?
Yeah, something that comes to mind. We constantly use AI to generate other variances of ads that, let's say, we test out and we post on behalf of our clients, and even to promote us internally.
Mhm.
So, for instance, there might be a new tool that we need to promote for ourselves, right? We would come up with the first variation of an ad, maybe different angles, and then we would use. There's a I don't know if you know this guy. His name is Alex Hormozy.
Yeah,
He's like a serial lead gen guy. I mean, he's
I have
phenomenal.
his book
So I
downstairs.
always yeah. So my team, what they would do sometimes, they would produce an ad and they would use ChatGPT to spin it and say like, "Hey, now produce 5 options of this ad using Hormozy style,"
Yeah,
and then it will spit out like there's an urgent ad based on Alex Hormozy methodology. There's a fear factor
yeah,
ad, and so on. So it then gives us a very quick idea of not even idea, but different variations of ads that we can quickly throw on Facebook, or Google, whatever, and see which one will produce better results.
yeah.
And sometimes, like you would change a headline slightly, and you would see a huge shift. Give you an example. We were promoting a webinar recently where my business partner was a lead host of this webinar. We launched a couple ads, and the results were subpar. Like the cost per lead was really expensive. Registrations were slowly coming in, and then our marketing our PPC specialist, his name is Michael. He came back and he's like, I think it might be because we don't have a video. Let's produce a video. So my business partner Sasha creates a raw video, like super raw. We upload it. Results increased just a little bit, and then what he does, he decreased the timeline of the video to only 20 seconds, and then it was like hockey stick growth.
Really?
Like we started getting 10x more registrations every single day. Like just this one change.
Wow. What
So
platform?
it wasn't truly AI,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but we use different variations of AI ads, for instance, or formats or suggestions to test out those hypotheses and theories as well.
It's ironic. I just listened to the ads part of Hormozy's newest book, like two
Oh,
days
the
ago.
$100 million
Leads.
leads.
Yeah, I just
Yeah,
literally
yeah.
2 days ago.
I'm on that book too.
Oh, great minds. No, yeah, literally two. And it was talking about, right, like if you just have to keep making tweaks until you find the right one. And if it doesn't work, it's just because you haven't found the right type of ad yet. So that makes what
Mhm.
platform were you guys posting on?
Facebook, Google, might be something else, but the biggest lift we got from Facebook.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, it's funny because the new generation doesn't really use Facebook, but apparently that's where so many of the like most sales that I hear about online, the biggest mover is in Facebook, and it's just like, well, it's very well. Also, like the younger generation doesn't really have money, and it's like the older people have money. They're on Facebook. All right, that's a good place to market,
Exactly.
right?
That's I was just on at the conference where Neil Patel was one of the speakers,
Mm,
and Neil is like, "Guess what? You think Facebook is outdated? You think Facebook is dead? You think Google is dead? No. People that have money, they still use Google.
yeah.
They still use Facebook, and that's going to generate you a ton of money in the next however many years until the newer generation is gonna grow up and
Yeah.
start making a lot more money.
Well, I,
Start spending.
but that's what it is, though, right? It's not being stringent because again, some people are against the new things, against AI, against using the new tools. They get left behind as the shift happens, and then some people only want to focus on the new things, and they're missing the existing potential that they can be getting right now. So I think that's one of the things where it's like you really need to just be flexible and try as many different things as you can. And we're speaking about right now. Obviously it's marketing, but it goes broad to all the different forms of entrepreneurship or business or sales or anything like that.
Yeah, you have to be curious. You have to figure out like what's new. You have to be And maybe if you're not excited about innovation, then someone on your team has to be. Someone has to bring you ideas. It has to find, like, constantly feed you, like, we should try this. We should go here. We should go to this conference or this webinar. There's this new tool. Because otherwise, what's going to happen is you remember the story of Kodak, right? Like that famous
camera company.
Camera company, right? That went out of business. One of the reasons was they had the digital format ready. They were the first ones to develop it, but they were just making so much money the old-fashioned way that they were afraid to change their own narrative and kill their own profitability.
That, it's funny. I had a conversation about this with someone recently too. I think it might have been the last call, but it's like that's what's happening with AI, in the sense that there are so many companies out there that are fighting it. And so many, not companies as in one or two, but like industry leaders that don't want to implement these AI changes. Because someone was talking about to me, was like, oh, like, recruiting can change in the next 2 years because of AI. I was like, it can, but it won't. And I'll tell you why. It's because LinkedIn's going to push it and make sure it takes 10 years to make that 2-year jump because of their business model. And if someone comes, and I just saw the thing about OpenAI starting their jobs, they're starting a jobs platform where they can train people. And stuff.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. I just saw the video today. Someone sent it to me. But my thing is that in every industry, this AI change can happen. Law firms, right? Obviously, marketing, all these different firms, but the big players right now are pulling a Kodak on us, and they're pushing it, and they're pushing how quickly these changes can happen. The biggest thing I think about this for recruiting a lot, it's going to get pushed only because of these big players. Now, if someone can come in and get under them and get it going, just like, I think, what was it, Fujitsu who did it? It was one of the Asian companies that beat out Kodak. If that can happen, that's where the money is, because I genuinely think most of the big players don't want to cannibalize their thing. Think about, like, even Google, right? They have Gemini options, but they're still not leaning into it as much as one would think that they would, because
they're not pushing it as hard,
because they're making so much money from their regular SEO. So they don't, their motivation's not there, but that's where they might lose out. So that's what surprises me, like, more and more people switch to ChatGPT, but yet Google still pushes so much more in the ads, space and ad spend, that people are, that makes them a lot more money. You look at the page, at the search result page, there are even more ads now. Yeah.
Come on, how are you not learning? Why are you still milking it? Like, switch already.
And I think that Google maybe still has an opportunity to be in a unique space, because I'm using Comet from Perplexity as my browser. The difference there is, in Google, if I type in like a website I'm about to do, the website pops up. But if I just say LinkedIn on Comet and hit enter, either I could get the URL, but I'm also going to get random stuff that Perplexity is telling me about what I typed in. So sometimes Google search for me is better, because I'm looking for either something local, or because, for us lately, back in the day when you had Edge or Explorer, you would go on the search bar and type in google.com, then go to Google, then respond. But lately, we've just gone to the search bar and put in our Google question and goes to Google, right?
Type in whatever and it'll appear, right?
But now with Comet, I have to do it the old way again. I have to go to google.com because I want to look for specific things that Google's giving me, right? So it's kind of, I was thinking about it, it's kind of going backwards, but Google has this opportunity to make their Chrome or whatever a true hybrid experience, which can honestly make them, because I'll tell you, I love Comet. I'm having so much fun with it. I'll go on a website and be like, I don't know how to fix this setting. How do you do it? And they'll just do it for me. So it's really cool. But I still sometimes will go on google.com because Google has the format that I'm used to. But I think Google's missing out by not leveraging their AI the right way. And as soon as we get used to Perplexity, they're done, right?
But in their own defense, I think Google, it's going to be really hard to beat Google for a number of reasons. Number one, they invest heavily into AI space and so on. Number two, they have the physical devices.
Yeah.
I don't use Android devices.
Yeah.
I'm an Apple guy, but there's so many that do. Yeah. Phones, computers, and so on. And guess what? They're going to be pushing their own AI systems through those devices.
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of the users are going to get used to. So I think it's just a little too early, like to determine who is going to win. OpenAI was the first one. Are they going to beat everyone eventually? No one knows.
Yeah.
Um, we'll see. We just have to. We as marketers, we have to adapt.
Yeah.
That's the most we can do. We can't, make bets. We can't really figure out how do we approach this. We just constantly have to adapt every week.
But no, but you said it right. It's about curiosity, because the thing is, when something new comes out, if you're trying it, well, you can hop on it before it becomes a fad, and you can get those that early benefit ahead of time, right? So curiosity is definitely a big part of it. But yeah, I'm not making bets. I don't think Google's going to lose overall, but I do think that what their claim to fame, their whole Google search, it's under threat. They need to, anyway. That's a whole other thing. And okay, so I want to go into a little bit about insights. So you talked about the mistake you made initially about hiring too quickly and then having to go out. Is there another mistake that you think that taught you a lot in your early days from building your business?
A lot of mistakes, but this is how you grow, right? Like, you make mistakes, and you figure out, you sit on it, you figure out what went wrong, why it happened this way, and how could you remedy it, or how could you actually learn based on this mistake and not make it again. One other thing that comes to mind was saying yes to a lot of clients, to everything. Like, treating early on, when we just started this agency, a client would come to us and be like, I need a website. Sure, we'll build it. I need an app. Sure, we'll build it. Do we know how to build an app? No, but we'll figure it out. It's okay. I need an ad. Sure, we'll build it. I'm interested in Yelp advertising. Sure, we'll figure it out. Not knowing half of the things that they would come to us for. So yet again, we were growing, so we were kind of hungry for getting more clients and wanted to satisfy them every way we could. Now thinking about that, if I were to start my agency again, I would pick a lane and I would be like hyper focused. One industry, maybe two, and one set of services. And I'd be like, I'm really good at that. I'm a surgeon. I'm a very specific brain surgeon. And that's why you would want to pay me a lot of money, because no one else can actually make a better surgery on your brain than me.
Yeah. No, that's, I think that's something, it's funny. You stole my next question, because my question was, if you're going to start over, what would you do? So you totally stole my next question. But yeah, I think when you're good at what you do, specializing or building a niche is very important. And I think that's a big trap that everyone thinks. But again, from the other side of things, if I wanted to tell you, like, well, you know what? You were lucky that you had so many clients at your door, because for a lot of people, that's their fear when starting a business. Like, no one's going to come, right? But no, I absolutely understand the
it certainly is, but it's counterintuitive. But actually, the more you specialize, the more you're going to be referred, and the more you can go to, let's say, if you specialize in everything, it's really hard to find partners, referral partners specifically. But let's say if you only focus on SEO, let's say, and this is only what you do, and let's say it's only in contractor space, right? Like, you only work with contractors, then it really becomes easier, because you can go to a lot of web design companies that also work with the same clientele and be like, look, we only do SEO. And everyone that comes to us for a website project, we'll send them your way. But you send whoever needs SEO to us, so we can win-win. But if you do everything, then you go to another web shop and they'll be like, no, we're not sending business to you. You're going to steal our customers.
Yeah, no, exactly. And that's the beauty of it, is that in terms of business, there's so many different types of like networking organizations where you can, like, you do this and you're it's like a BNI, right? Like, you go in, you do one thing and you help the community, your organization that way. And a lot of bigger companies forget that style, because the bigger you grow, the more you do, and then you're a conglomerate. You don't care about other people. But when you're mid-size, at least you can be helping your peers anyway. But all right, so let's see. Do you okay, outside of work, do you use AI for your personal decision making or personal stuff?
Absolutely. And I tell all of our team members too, like, don't just use AI for work stuff. Implement it within your personal day-to-day life, because once again, that's curiosity, right? Like, you're gonna try AI to solve specific puzzles, specific problems in your daily and like your personal life and so on, and then it's gonna carry forward to your professional life, and vice versa. I do it. I use it constantly. I have two kids, 6 and 4 year olds, and I would usually like. I taught them very early on, like, hey, do you want to draw something? Yes, I want to draw a tank. I want to draw a unicorn. Well, okay. What I would do sometimes, I would fire up a chat GPT and I'd be like, draw me a unicorn that my kids can color. And the next thing you'll get is this, or draw me a unicorn wearing something, a skirt, or draw a unicorn from this specific cartoon that they just watched, and I'll get a very cool drawing that I print out on my printer, and then there'll be color in it. So it's just one example, but
That
I use it all the time.
that's a great use. Oh my gosh. I mean, I'm so many, maybe parents are doing that already, but I wouldn't even think of that. And that is such a good use for it. Wow. Yeah, no, but I will say that that is a big one that, when I'll admit, and I've admitted in the past that, like, when ChatGPT first came out, I was like, I'm not going to learn it. I was like, I don't want to do it. It's another thing. I'm tired of all these things. I got really like
Yeah.
grumpy old man, right? I was like, I don't want to do it. But like, you can't get away from it. And everyone at some point just downloaded the free version and tried it. But if you like put a little bit of thought into what you're asking, because sometimes, I'll give you an example. Like, I had a friend of mine, she doesn't really use AI. She's like, I want to go to London. This is my budget. I'm looking for a hotel. All right. So I went on Perplexity. Hotel, I want to comment, and at hotels.com, I was like, okay, this is the price range, this is the location, these are the dates, find me the best, whatever. I gave it all the parameters, and I sent, and I was like, oh my God, you're amazing. I was like, no, Perplexity. I didn't do a thing. I hit the button, and
Yeah,
I
exactly.
got out of there. But that's where it starts, because that's how easy it is. Or you can even do like, here's my entire budget. I want to go to these 3 cities, flights, everything. And you'll get it won't book it for you yet, even though Perplexity might be able to on comment, but it'll give you the full itinerary, and it's that easy, right? That's the beginning of it. Um,
Sure. What do you think about critical thinking, though? Like, my only issue with using AI, like, we can all get hooked to it so quickly. Like us, I mean, I'm a grown person, growing in adult and individual, right? Like, I accumulated that critical thinking throughout the years and throughout my experience, both professional and personal. But I'm worried that, let's say, the newer generation, they'll just rely on AI so
yeah.
much that they're not going to develop that critical thinking. What's your theory on that?
So I don't, okay, I don't want to be a fear monger. I agree, because I think there's even studies out now that, right, already people that are using it, they're losing out on some of these things. But it's not from a place of fear. I think that we always talked about this. People have always talked about this. Everything in moderation. So if you're able to draw lines and say, like, all right, kids, like, this is screen time, no screen time, AI time, no AI time, and we put them in situations where they're not around the screens or not around these different tools, and they have to problem solve without it. That's one. I don't know if it's too far for me, but I think I don't have kids yet, but I hope one day I have kids. But I think also to be like, all right, in the beginning, we really limit the screen time, because that's when they need to learn how to be humans, people,
Mm-hmm.
relationships, right? We do a lot of that. We do a lot of extracurriculars. And then we start with our critical thinking. It's kind of like just with school, right? You start with addition, then you go to multiplication, then you move on to fractions, right? Same thing. We drill in questions, question time, and going through those different things, reading books, understanding that stuff. And then the introduction of AI not being, here's the answer. It's, how do you take your answer and a little bit of data and build something else, right?
Mm-hmm.
Always make it the layer on top as opposed to the first, because I think the issue that the generation that's probably in middle school, high school now, their issue is that they got this new thing and it's giving them the answers the teachers are asking for. It's like the calculator, right?
Yep.
You don't do an addition. You don't give the kid with the calculator an addition test. You give him
Yep.
harder math. And that's why the calculator isn't a crutch. Same here. We don't ask for, or write an essay about this. It's tell me why, right? Tell me the details behind the psychology, something that the AI won't be able to tell you, right? Or things like that. So I think it's the way that we introduce, and it's the way that we ask more challenging questions that'll need more than just one-to-one answers.
I agree with you. I honestly think that if you're going to outsource your thinking, and let's say you're 16-year-old right now, and you're going to outsource your thinking to AI, it's really dangerous because you're going to rely on it so much that, God forbid something happens and you don't have a phone or a computer or something else. All of a sudden you're panicking because you can't make a decision.
But I also think it's a mindset thing, in the sense that, like, for me, it used to be nice to just have an answer to something, but I realize as these new things are coming out, the answer is always there. Since Google, answer is always there. It's not about the answer. Mm-hmm. It's about how you use the answer. So I started doing things where I ask ChatGPT, I'll be like, hey, can you write me a writing prompt about a current event that happened today that I need to research? And I'll give myself homework, right? It's really stupid to think of it that way. It's like, but I'm giving myself homework to keep myself on my toes, because it's so easy for me to just wake up, look at my news app. I have the news. Okay, I move on with my life, as opposed to, okay, like maybe I need to do a research. Maybe there's more context here. And so I think the other thing is for the next generation, how curious can we make them? Because if you make them curious, that's it. That's going to be the winner. Because I think about it. I look at even not just curious, but like wanting to be proficient. Because I'll look at sometimes my parents, they're getting older now, so they're having trouble walking and stuff, or like they're going upstairs a little bit harder. And in my mind, I'm like, all right, well, you should be trying to walk more stairs so that your muscles get stronger, right? That's the difference. Same as with this stuff. It's right, like make your muscles stronger, make your thought process stronger.
Yeah, no, for sure.
All right. So, well, okay. I we had that little break in between, so I don't want to carry on too much because we do have a hard stop. But I'll go into, so I call these the FAQs. So as we're about to wrap up, we call them frequently asked questions. The joke is they're not really that frequent. But I'll start with, what's your favorite AI tool?
I don't have one specific tool. I use a combination of them. But I'm between ChatGPT and Claude for different applications and different reasons, right? Like if I'm solving one problem and it's related to a tool or that I need to visualize and so on, I would use Claude. If I'm using something to prepare for, let's say, a podcast episode or to write an article, I would use ChatGPT.
Yeah. I do similar. I actually go like, for one task, I'll go through 3 of them. So I'll like storyboard with Chat.
I do that too.
And then sometimes I'll ask Perplexity the question, and then just pull it and put it into Claude and be like, all right, now make this sound like a human being. Right? Because Perplexity is not good at that. I will say that. Perplexity is great with the data, but it sounds like a robot, which it's not a bad thing. Okay, so you talked about if you start again, you'd go very niche. So what is the niche of the future for digital marketing? If you were going to do it again, pick one niche, and that niche will be the thing that'll take you on to the next thing. What is that niche?
I would definitely choose something that will continually prosper, and that's not going to be disrupted by AI, because there are a lot of industries that could evaporate, right, and could disappear in the next 3, 5, 10 years. So the reason why we chose legal, and I think legal is on border, right? Like some people are still going to get accidents until there'll be so many self-driving cars and self-driving trucks, there'll be no accidents. And then you wouldn't need lawyers as much, right? But still, there will be divorces, there'll be like family issues, there'll be employment issues and all that. So that's why it's in the border. But the second niche that we're going after really heavily for the last, 6, 7, 8 years is contractor space, home services, because no AI can disrupt that space. You still need individuals going on the roof and actually doing the job. There are no robots that are capable of doing that. Moving would be like just another industry where we excel at, but like something we understand, and like that's just my mentality. choose an industry that's not going to be disrupted by AI, and that's going to continually, prosper, and it's going to have a lot of companies in. That's that, and then I would also choose a service, like a good enough, a big chunk that can solve a very specific problem. And I would just be really like, going back to your question, what would I do if I would start over again? I would do that. I would become a specialist, and I would just do a really, really, really exceptional quality work. And like, even if someone pays me less and I'm not gonna be, it's not gonna be profitable, I would still deliver really exceptional quality work, so that they would remember me. That would leave me a really good review. And I think, by the way, in the era of AI citation, reputation matters, like, more than it used to be.
Yeah.
If you have a bad reputation, that's going to follow you, and that's not going to help you grow. So building that reputation right now is exceptionally important. And I would just go to various specialists that are already specialized in that market, that could be, and provide my service as a value add-on.
Yeah, no, reputation. I think that's because again, AI doesn't understand nuance, and if you have some, there's a joke about Chinese restaurants, right? If you find a Chinese restaurant with 3.5 stars, it's probably the best restaurant ever, but people write down like bad service or late service or something, but the food's amazing. AI doesn't get that context, right? AI is like, okay, nope, 3.5 stars, it's not good.
No, not gonna, not gonna feature them.
Exactly. But all right, so this one, it's not a super serious question. Please take it as a joke. I'm not trying to get free advice. But for my recruiting agency, if you were to pick one, marketing strategy to attract clients, and again, don't think too much about it. It's not a serious question.
I get it.
But what do you think? What's one avenue that makes sense for a recruiting agency targeting clients?
Yeah, the clients are big corporations or
under
SMBs?
under 500 employees.
Okay, so
AI
small
space.
business, small
startups,
mid-sized in AI space.
Yeah.
Got it. I would certainly, so a couple of things that come to mind. I would definitely go to a lot of the events where they hang out, right? Like, and I would either have a booth, or I would create something really interesting. I would write a book about talent, and I would use various components of that book to promote myself on socials, on LinkedIn, and so on. And I would certainly use the old outbound strategy, but I would not do it just hey, my name is Shubo, I'm here to help you recruit. No, I would do it the gift-based outbound, which is, here's a really cool gift. Like, oh, who did send that to me? Oh, there's this company. And then you follow up and you tell them, like, look, are you actually recruiting for so-and-so? Because I can help. That's what come to mind.
You're amazing, and I should have called you first, because I did all this research and I came to the same thing. I was like, I'm going to go to events, I'm going to come up with a lead magnet, give it away for free, that's awesome. Thank you for that. What is the best advice you ever got?
Wow, that's a tough one. Best advice. Treat others as you would want to be treated by them. I think that's probably what rises to mind.
I love that.
There's one other one, which is extreme, like, be an extreme owner. Don't ever, point, at somebody because of a failure. Like, embrace it and own it.
Yeah.
Like, yes, this is on me. This mistake, it happened because of so and so. I think that's also it was a life-changing for me at some point.
Hell yeah. No, that's epic. Because I think at that point, then you can't be mad at the world anymore. Because usually a lot of the problems that happens when you're doing something or you're starting something that's outward facing. It's like, oh, this person messed me up. That's awesome.
And if you build an organization, and if you want your team members to be owning their results and their mistakes, it all starts from the top.
Yeah.
Like, if you constantly pointing fingers, like, oh no, it's your mistake, Well, guess what your leaders, that are reporting to you are going to treat their specialists or their team members.
Yeah. Well, it when Ford, I think it was Ford, got a new CEO, and he's like, "Tell me what are all the problems? Give me all the problems," and no one would do it. All the leaders were like, "No, everything's great. Everything's like, dude, we're like at the bottom of all the car manufacturers in America. Tell me what the problems are," and no one would do it because the last CEO would point fingers and be like, "You messed up. You messed up. You messed up,"
Yep.
and then the CEO was like, "This is what I did wrong when I first started." And then eventually everyone started taking accountability. So that absolutely makes sense. What's the best investment you ever made?
Outside of crypto, I think it's actually my relationship with my wife. I sort of worked on it. I worked my way. I was first on the friendly terms with her, but I worked extra hard to to make sure it shifts from just a friendly zone into a more intimate zone. And because of that, I have not only an amazing wife, beautiful, individual, and mother of two of my children, but also amazing friend and a partner.
That's amazing. And I know now for sure that you're going to be sending her this episode so she hears this. So I got one extra listener for the episode.
Score some extra points.
Hell yeah. All right. And then what is a book that you gift the most?
Um, Lately, I've been given different books. I don't know which one I've been given the most, but lately it's been Thinking Backwards. Uh, it's the Amazon Principles.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
written by two Amazon execs. It's called Thinking Backwards. It's just been tremendously eye-opening for me. Like there are a lot of cool concepts that I was able to, there are a lot of books that you read today and they're like, 90% of it is just like the same shit you've seen
Yeah.
all over.
Yeah.
But that book really opens your eyes. So
Yeah,
that was cool.
that's actually been on my list, and I haven't gotten into it yet. So thank you for. That's going to be the next one as soon as I finish 100.
Alex Hermosi would probably be the next one.
Yeah,
Once I finish reading
yeah,
reading it, I'll probably start giving it as well.
yeah. Oh, he's amazing. Because the thing is with him is he's very transparent, and
Mhm.
listening to other people talk about him, you realize like it's not an act. Like this is who he is, which
Yeah.
is awesome. All right. So as we're about to wrap up, tell me what's next for you. What's next for Comrade?
Uh, as an agency, we have sort of a vision where we want to be. We want to influence a lot more people, both on client facing and internal team facing, right? Like what we're building is truly changing lives, which is really cool. I mean, we're a small business. We're under 100 employees or like almost there. Uh, but I get time to time, I get a postcard from a client and I don't even work with, but I've seen maybe once or something. And the postcard would say something like, "Hey, Ivan, thank you and your team for this amazing journey. Because of that, we're now so much, bigger and so on. And I can put a food, at my table and so on." That's truly inspiring. So I'm hoping to change a lot more lives, but that's like my big vision. I also like one of our visions is turn it into instead of just being service into a technology plus service business,
Mm.
and then grow to a larger size where we're already thinking of like how do we grow faster or how do we become better, and the acquisition is something that we're going to try and do like in the next couple quarters, maybe a year time. So I'm thinking that could also bolster our growth. So that's that. And personally, just super excited. Like overall, I'm really happy with my life and where I'm at as an individual. Just want to continue that. Like no regrets. I was talking to a friend the other day and like what would you if you remember the last 5 years of your life, like would you change anything in those last 5 years? Well, other than invest in crypto earlier, I can't think of a single thing that I would change.
Yeah. I was gonna,
Just keep on being honest with myself and just living that lifestyle.
Ivan, I think your a trend is you have notes of gratitude that come from you even before you said what you said. Like you can see it. That's so powerful, and honestly, it makes your energy makes everyone feel great. So definitely want to thank you for that part of it. But I also will say it seems like it's about to be a very interesting time to be a part of Comrade, because acquisitions, I know that's gonna put you guys on a whole other map. So that's gonna be fun to see. But where can people learn more about you and more about Comrade?
Yeah, you can actually, our company website is comradeweb.com. If you're interested in speaking with me directly, whatever your questions might be, it doesn't have to be business related. It could be about entrepreneurial journey, or maybe if you need an advice or whatever. I'm always happy to give back to a community. So you can check out my personal website, ivanvislavskiy.com. My marketing team made me build one. No, you need a website. Okay, sure. But once again, whatever questions you might have, just reach out. Happy to. Sometimes I get a random question, and I'm just happy to jump on the call and provide as much value as I can.
That's incredible, and I'll put all that in my show notes. And then as we're wrapping up, last message for the listeners.
Well, I guess something that will highlight what we've been talking about is curiosity. Like, stay curious, try new things, experiment, but don't just outsource it all to AI. Like that's balance it, right? Like, make sure you're thinking right about this. Like, keep that critical thinking.
Awesome. All right. So for everyone listening at home, stay curious.